Hey everybody, so here we are in our first project of our course. So Unit 1 project is on veterinary anatomy, label your pet. So I kind of wanted to do something fun and kind of incorporate your pets if you have them. I hope you do. If you don't, you can substitute with the stuffed animal, and here's one of mine. I didn't plan that. So label your pet. So if you recall in Unit 1, hopefully you were just finishing it up, we have two sections of veterinary terminology. So this is something that when I started in veterinary science, people were using certain words, and I'm like, I have no idea what that means. And it's really like a language specific to medicine. And a lot of these veterinary terms are the same as what is used in human med. So if you have an interest in human med, you might be using some of these as you go along. And it's important to note these are from Greek and Latin terms, right? You have prefix, suffix, root word, all of those things, and they work together to create words, which means something, right? So we kind of start out with the easy terms of specific types of animals, genders, things like that. Then we move into a little bit more specific of body positions and directions. So when you're doing things like ultrasounds, x-rays, procedures, all of those things, your doctor is going to want the patient, the animal, in a specific position. It's going to be the best to get whatever visual they're looking for of a certain organ and things like that, or it's going to be more comfortable for the pet, things like that. So these common anatomical terms are, like I said, kind of universal. So some of them are going to make more sense when you think about the body parts. So like cranial towards the head, right? Your cranium has your brain in it, your head. Caudal towards the tail, dorsal towards the back, like a dorsal fin on a whale or a shark. Ventral towards the belly, lateral, medial, right? All of these things are common anatomical terms and directions, and you can see here in this diagram the differences and things like that. When you are positioning your patient and you're in a certain recumbency, this is how the patient is lying down. So you do reuse these terms at the beginning here throughout. We have a nice little video here of terminology building blocks, as I mentioned, that is helpful as well. And then we have page 2. This kind of goes through a day in the life, if you will, of like a new technician or new technician assistant, hearing those words and being like, oh, I don't know what's happening, and what they really mean. So here are just a few brief ones, things you hear a lot in emergency med. Stat, I need this now, immediately, right? Things like that. TPR, every single patient that walks in the door, you need a temperature, pulse, respiration. Other great abbreviations here, things like how often a medication is given, how a medication is given, things like that. So those are just overviews of the veterinary terminology pages that we have. Why do we care about veterinary terminology? Here's why. Accurate record keeping, prevent mistakes, right? Like, oh, I gave that medication IV instead of subcutaneous. There can be a reaction. What am I supposed to look for? What happens, right? So all of these things are very important to the health of your patients. So how does this apply to our project? So your screen's going to look a little different than mine, but as we go down, you're going to demonstrate your knowledge of animal anatomy by creating informative labels for anatomical features. So some of which I want you to use from those two veterinary terminology pages, which include like direction, like cranial, ventral, okay? You can use arrows with your words, but I want you to pick 15 different anatomical features / directional terms for labeling your pet. So I recommend sticky notes and a nice pen. So here are some other options, examples, things that you can choose from. and labeling on your pet, right? Shoulder, kneecap, jaw, larynx, things like that. Try to use the scientific veterinary term, right? It's going to help you more in the long run. And you need 15 of those. Okay, so you can do a mixture of positions and anatomical features. Put some nice little sticky notes with the correct terminology, correct arrows if needed, and correct placement on your pet. Then you're going to take a picture and make sure your labels are clearly visible and readable. You're probably going to need to put 2 pictures up, one of each side of your pet. If you don't have a pet or you don't have a willing pet, you can use a stuffed animal. If you can't get a stuffed animal, do like a pin the tail on the donkey, print out or draw a picture of a pet and pick which anatomical features you want and send me a picture. You can use any sort of pet. If you want to use your cow, that's great. You don't have to be restricted to cat or dog. So this is once again just the helpful directional diagram there. Hopefully it shouldn't be too challenging. Use your Googling, but use your brain first and Google to make sure they are in the right place. And that is your Unit 1 project. I hope you have some fun. Take care.